Destiny has located Venice at the conjunction between two universes, the two empires that came out of the collapse of the Roman Empire. There is a place that more than any other still testifies this union. St. Mark's Cathedral doesn't cease and will never cease to amaze us. It was rebuilt as we see it today between 1063 and 1071.
St. Mark's Basilica is a Christian church that rediscovers old symbols, pagan symbols, and reproduces the same symbols at a higher level.
Inside, the cathedral is characterized by 4,000 square meters vault, covered by gold leaf mosaics, which represent episodes from the Genesis and the Old Testament. Under the ceiling, the floor is structured in 14 themes and was concluded around the middle of the 12th century. Experts agree in defining the mosaic carpet a Constantinian ideation with a merely decorative purpose. But was it the only purpose of this mosaic?
The church on the pavements describes the things we can see on a higher level, on the mosaics, on the walls. This tradition is to be found in France, Chartres, which is a church of the 12th century. And because of the Crusades, the pilgrims could not go to the Holy Land anymore because it was dangerous. So they had to make the same pilgrimage locally. And so they reproduced locally in their own churches all over Europe the same pilgrimage they could have done in Palestine. But in St. Mark's this was completely lost, and the pavements became a mere decoration, like more or less the symbols we find on the Persian carpets.
The floor of the cathedral appears as an intricate path built around a system of coordinated axes. Like an ancient labyrinth, it seems underlying an initiation path.
The whole thing starts in the west, and when we enter the church, we go from the west to the east. The west is, of course, the region of darkness, and the east, the orient, is exactly the opposite. It represents the sunrise, and therefore light, God, orthodoxy, truth. Every man entering the church can be orientated, and so every faithful going from the west to the east can reach the center, in which there's a possibility, like a step ladder to the higher level. So entering St. Mark's, you can go from the earth into the sky.
There is a relationship between the mosaics on the ceiling and the geometrical design of the pavimentum sectile. The floor underneath St. John's Dome appears as a big square.
This pavement is in the north because the Lord came down from the north to take on himself the human flesh, to bring salvation to every single man.
In order to decode this geometrical image, we have to start from the description of the world according to the Ptolemaic cosmology, which was dominant during the Middle Ages.
The earth is a square around which there's the okeanos, and right under this composition, the earth, there are 4 columns, and they hold up the earth plus the sky right over the earth.
Beyond the superior water in excelsis was the throne of God.
Christ is on the 7th sky, his hips are on the 7th sky, and around him there are 4 symbols: a man with the wings, a bull with the wings, a lion with the wings, and an eagle. According to the New Testament, these symbols correspond to the symbols of the 4 evangelists: Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John.
If we erase the figurative parts and transpose their geometrical volumes bidimensionally on a surface, This is only one of the many stories which we can discover among the geometries of the cathedral's floor.
From this pavement, the Mission of Christ continues towards the right-hand side, which corresponds to the south. And this corresponds to the facade, because the facade starts exactly with the incarnation of Christ, his descent to hell, and then on the other side, the resurrection and the ascension, the way back to his Father.
Each story is the dual, the track of a path to a broader tale. A tale that our visual codes and our eyes might not be able to see anymore, but that perhaps, once decoded, we will just need to remember. Saint Mark has still a lot to recount us.